This is a co-op shooter for 1 to 4 players, where you and your friends play as robot cowboys in a strange version of the Wild West. The thing is that this version of the Wild West is not restricted to dusty towns and deserts. The place is full of supernatural stuff, like skeletons that come back to life, ghost trains flying through the sky, haunted buildings, and weird storms. What makes it interesting for me is that it mixes normal gunplay with magic spells. So 1 second you're shooting a revolver, and the next you're throwing fireballs. It's made by a small team of 8 people and feels extremely polished. The whole thing works around a mission structure. You start in a town hub where you pick contracts from the sheriff, choose your loadout, and customize your character. Weapons go from revolvers and pistols to bows, boomerangs, and sheriff stars. The sheriff stars come back to you after throwing, so you don't run out of these, but you also only get a few of them, so you can't spam them. Then the game has spell trees, electricity, fire, acid, and voodoo. You unlock more as you level up, and they actually combo with each other. Like the acid puke reacts with electricity for extra effect. Once you take a contract, you ride out to a randomly generated map on your horse. Horses have a boost, so getting around the map is pretty quick. Each map has main objectives, plus a bunch of optional side things, marked with question marks. The main ones, for example, include protecting a cart full of dynamite that slowly drives itself toward the boss, turning valves on a drill to keep the pressure stable, herding cows by shooting them, or restoring power to factories. There's a surprising amount of variety here. The side stuff includes a magnet you control to dig up gold from underground, parkour bits, and a small aim trainer where you shoot floating skulls. As for the enemies, you get basic skeletons, whose bones you have to break by the way, or they stand back up. Flying ones, snakes, guys with shields you have to flank, and also tougher enemies with bazookas and gatling guns. The variety here makes it so you can't just spam your main attack. It requires careful positioning and fully utilizing your loadout. Each map ends with a boss, of course, before you can extract. The bosses here are pretty damn cool. For example, this flying haunted saloon, which is a 2-phase fight where you first shoot the boards covering its windows while dodging tornadoes and flying tables, then take down the spirit that is actually possessing the building. Again, lots of creativity here. For the progression, you collect these souls from killing enemies and gold from finishing objectives. The souls upgrade your meta stats like health, ammo capacity, and spell cooldowns. Gold can buy cosmetic skins for you and your horse. The weapons and spells level up on their own, which then unlocks new ones. During missions, you also pick up joker cards. They give you random buffs like becoming tiny, infinite ammo when you stand still, or extra damage from heavier gravity. Some are useful, some are just for laughs, like there's one that makes the bullets sound like chickens. It's the kind of game where you realize the developers intended to make it fun. The game's newest playtest also added a whole new region called the Far Far North, which is covered in snow and ice. To unlock it, you do 3 quests for a railroad worker, and this guy is not marked on the map, so you have to actually find him. Each region furthermore has 10 graves you can collect. The lobby also regularly gets updated. For example, there was a holiday update with Christmas decorations, frozen water you can skate on, and a chicken hockey or football thing that you can play with friends. They also added a music building where you can collect music disc fragments and play these tracks back in the lobby, including some old songs from previous playtests. The difficulty system is nice. Easy is pretty chill of course, but starting from hard, you get random modifiers like tornadoes and fireballs. You can stack more of these too for extra XP and also more madness. But harder enemies also show up on lower difficulties now, so the whole game feels a bit tougher than before, which in my opinion is a welcome change. After a mission, you can also jump straight into another match, instead of going back to the saloon. A few things are not perfect yet though, especially since it is an early access release. For example, some of the big objectives, while doable solo, clearly want a full team, so when you play these solo you definitely feel it. The maps are pretty large, which is fun on a horse, but can drag if you want to clean up every side thing. A decent chunk of the joker cards are more silly than actually helpful. Of course, this is reflected in the name. And of course there are bugs, like dynamite cards getting stuck. Since it is early access, you will definitely need some patience while content gets added over time, especially with a rather small team behind it. What you get right now is the full core loop, so the missions, multiplayer, character customization, and progression, all of these work and are greatly optimized. But the devs are very open about the fact that more content is coming, including additional enemies, weapons, game modes, bosses, and cosmetics. So for 8 people working on this thing, this is already a solid state, and the core loop holds up especially well with friends.